Beatrice, you're muted.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We will start the second session of the seminar on data science by continuing. We already had the session before in which we analyzed which was the schedule for the seminar this week. And also, we performed a basic approach to digital metrics within the framework of information goods. The concept of information goods was coined by Shapiro-Barian in 1999. And we see that in the field of cultural tourism, cultural economics, the more we consume these digital goods, that is, these information goods, the more we like them when they are real pieces of art. This is totally different from the material world, okay, in which the marginal utility to consumption decreases. Whereas in the culture good, thanks to the digitalization, the more you consume the digital goods, the more you like them. To the extent that the accumulated consumption of these digital goods, these culture goods, pieces of art, can change our willingness to consume or our willingness to travel. We already said the case of the Galapagos Islands, for instance. Transaction costs are very high from Bilbao. In terms of time, it is far away from here, so it takes a long time to go to Galapagos Islands, which is a marvel. It's a lovely. And also in financial terms, very expensive to get to Galapagos Islands from Bilbao. But as we explained, maybe I start watching these pictures from these lovely islands in Ecuador, the Galapagos Islands, and the more I consume these pictures, the more I like them, to the point that I decide at the end to go there for tourism with my family, let's say, for a week, okay? So it will take me a couple of days to go there and a couple of days to come from there, and I would stay 3 or 4 days there. So my willingness to consume changes dramatically with the consumption of these digital images on the Galapagos Islands. So we are talking about increasing returns to utility. This is the economic term, okay? And this is possible to the marginal cost, very low marginal cost in digital world, thanks to the internet, okay? And so this means that we are in a totally different framework from the classical economic theory. Having said this, now the question is, do we have any way to measure which is demand, okay, as a proxy? Is there any way to measure which is the demand? And within this, we will start with some exercises in connection with Google Trends. Can you see the PowerPoint? On Google Trends?
No, we cannot see them. We cannot see the PowerPoint.
Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So what is Google Trends? This session will be very brief, as we will connect this session with Google Analytics, which will be quite a long one. So, but this will be a very practical session on Google Trends. What is Google Trends? Google Trends is a synthetic indicator that briefs the massive data on Google. Okay, we employ search terms in Google Trends and can see more or less, well, quite exactly actually, which is the data pattern in connection with search terms of keywords, okay? The classical here, the classical article in connection with Google Trends is Joy Barin article published in 2012 entitled Predicting the Present with Google Trends. We will not perform forecasting now. Maybe we will perform forecasting in the session of coding for data science, but for now we will stick to the basics. The aim is to get a real understanding of the topic to move on to higher level technologies in autumn, okay, in connection with data science. But here, Choi and Barin, they employed Google Trends in order to forecast what will happen next week in tourism in Hong Kong, okay? And it is quite interesting to see that it is possible to foresee what will happen in 1 week time or what will happen in 2 weeks time in the demand of a cultural tourism destination, okay? Maybe if you see in Google Trends that there is a decline, there will be a decline. You are foreseeing that next week there will be a decline, and maybe you decide to invest in advertising in order to increase tourism next week. So this is the strength of Google Trends, that it is possible to advance the market. It is through digital metrics. It is possible to foresee what will happen in a week time or what will happen in 2 weeks time. Okay. For instance, we will start, as I said, it is very practical, and I will start by performing a practical exercise of Google Trends. And the first exercise is this one, okay? We are going to look for Cremona violin. Cremona, as you know, as we are all involved in the art world, art and culture world, we are an expert. We know that Cremona is down in Italy, famous for producing violins by hand, okay? It's handcraft, it's famous worldwide. In fact, once I visited I was there in some international conferences in EMTA, in the Academy of Theatre and Music in Tallinn, and I met the vice dean there, and he told me that he visited Cremona the previous week because he was buying some strings for his violin, okay? And then at that point, I realized that Cremona was really an important place for violin players and cello players, and because they produce quite unique pieces of string instruments, okay? We want to know how the demand for violin components is performing in the market. So we go to Google Trends, okay? I'm going to open my browser. I'm going to share my browser. Can you see my browser? And I am going to look for Google Trends. Okay. Can you see my browser?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm in Google Trends now. And I'm going to look for Cremona violin. Okay, Cremona violin. So here's my Cremona violin. We have nothing. here it is Spanish because I'm connected with my Gmail is in Spanish. So it is performing in Spanish. I try to switch to, I'm sorry, because I was, I designed this from my laptop, which is in English, but I'm switching to English right now. No, not yet. Okay, okay. Well. Wait a minute, I'm switching to another mail. You don't need the Gmail to access Google Trends, okay? We don't need a Gmail to access Google Trends, but you saw that my Google Trends was in Spanish, and I'm trying to switch to English through my Gmail, because my Gmail is in English, okay? So we'll see whether I'm lucky enough, okay? This is what I'm trying to do. Okay? So I'm going to look for Google Trends again. Normally, it appears in the language of the email. Okay, Cremona, violin. Let's see. No, it's still in Spanish. I'm sorry for this. I'll translate, okay? Okay, so we have worldwide searches. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, here we have the search term Cremona violin. Cremona violin, okay. Searches performed in the whole world here, okay, the whole world. To see if I can switch to English. Again, last try.
Idioma.
Yes.
No.
Not yet. Sorry, this is Spanish, but I will translate. Okay. I performed it in the laptop. It was in English. So here we have the Google Trends for Cremona violin. We are looking for. I check for the whole world. Okay, and searches done from 2004 on here. So we have here, what is this? This line is from 2004 up to now. How many people have looked for Cremona violin globally? Okay. It is a proxy to demand, because somehow we can say the Cremona violin is like a brief to the demand of these violin-related products of Cremona. But maybe we have ups and downs here, and we cannot see very clearly whether the trend is upwards or whether the trend is downwards. So we will destationalize this. We will download this time series, and we will destationalize this time series. Where do they visit? Where do they Google mainly for Cremona violin? They Google it mainly from Chile, Argentina, New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States. Okay, these are the top 5. You can see up to 15 different countries. This is normalized data, okay? Normalized data, the maximum is equal to 100, okay? It is normalized data. Here's the map, okay? In which you see which are the countries that look for Cremona violin. These are the keywords connected with Cremona violin, okay? Number 1 is violin, number 2 is Cremona, number 3 is handmade violins in Cremona. Number 4 is producers of violins. Number 5 is Italy. Number 7 is Antonio Stradivari, a very famous luthiers violin makers. Okay, the brand of Stradivari and the brand of Cremona violin makers. They have a big brand in the musical world. Okay, so and the branding power. Stradivarius is a declination Italian language, and all these keywords here. In the next PowerPoint, I will show a network analysis with these keywords, okay? But before we perform a network analysis with these keywords, we are going to download this series and we are going to destationalize this series, okay? What does destationalize mean? You can see that there are peaks here, okay? Peaks. There are ups and downs. Okay? So we need to somehow calculate which is the trend, not the seasonal pattern of this series, but which is the trend of this series. Okay, so can you see where is my finger now? Can you see where is the finger now?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to download the data, okay? So I download the data. Okay. And downloaded data. And downloaded the data in an Excel format. Can you see the Excel?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, wait a minute.
All black.
All black, okay. I'm going to, this is the Excel I downloaded for Google Trends. Can you see it?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, lovely. So you can see that the system automatically downloads the data.
Yeah.
Date. This is January 2004. Jan 2004. Okay. Up to June 2023. I'm going to delete the last data because June is not complete yet. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one, the last one, and we are going to finish the analysis in May 2023. Okay, can you see the data set?
Yep.
So we have 233 monthly data. Okay. First, I'm going to perform the graph of this to see. It should look the same as the graph we saw on the internet. Okay. Here's the graph. Can you see the graph?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Google Trends demand. This is the demand. How many people in a normalized term look for Cremona violin worldwide. Worldwide means all over the world. So this is a proxy to demand. Okay. It is quite common in cultural economics to approach demand through Google Trends. Okay, it is a good proxy to advance what will happen in a theater next week or what will happen in an opera next week or next month. Okay, so it is quite a reliable proxy to demand. What happens here? The problem we have here is that we have all this seasonal behavior. So we are going to destationalize. We are going to destationalize through moving averages, okay? Moving averages. So I'm going to calculate the moving averages of this series. This is monthly data. So for monthly data, we need to calculate the moving averages of 12 months. So I push a position here, and I'm going to calculate now the average of the first 12 months. Can you see it?
Yes.
I calculated the average of the first 12 months, which is the sum of the first 12 months divided by 12, which is the number of months. And then I roll it down up to the end. Okay, the system does it automatically. The Excel system does it automatically. These are the advantages of Excel. That it does it for you if done properly. Okay, so okay. I'm trying to just add the 1 digit like this. Can you see?
Yes.
This is the destationalized moving averages 12. So it is monthly. So this is the destationalized series. Okay. I'm going to picture the graph for the destationalized series. And what can we see here? Wait a minute, because I'm going to add the
Sorry, Beatrice, let me just make a question.
Yes.
To do that second column, you made an average. How did you destationalize? I didn't see because I was writing.
I destationalized by calculating the moving averages. So how did I calculate the moving averages? I went to December,
Yeah,
2004 December, and calculated the average from January to December
yeah,
of that year, okay?
okay.
So 31, can you see 31 there?
Yes, yes.
31 is the average for the data 2004 January to 2004 December. This is the average.
The
And
average.
then I copy paste in all the cells up to the
Okay.
end, up to
Okay.
the end, because
Okay.
the Excel, the sheet recalculates automatically
Okay.
the relative positions.
So destationalizing is just calculating the average. Is that so?
Yes, here there are many ways of destationalizing, but here we are using a very simple method, which is the moving average.
Okay.
Okay, moving average. We use 12 moving average because we are talking about monthly data. So as we are talking about monthly data, it is the sum divided by 12. Okay, the sum of the first 12 months divided by 12.
A normal average. Okay.
Yes, it is a normal average. And this is the result. Okay,
Okay.
this is the result. The result is, what can you see here? What can you see? Can you see the graph?
Yeah, yeah. It's decreasing the.
It is very
the
clear.
demand.
In the original graph, we didn't see very much the decrease.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, we could see the decrease, but maybe not so clearly.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe not so clearly, because we had this seasonal behavior. So we destationalized it, and what can we see? We see very clearly that the Cremona violin, the demand for Cremona violin is decreasing. Okay?
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, the demand for Cremona violin is decreasing. This is very handy to when you are doing research on cultural destinations, cultural tourist destinations. It is very handy to get to know whether they are doing well or not. Okay. Sometimes we have the visiting figures and we want to check them with Google Trends to see whether the figures make sense or not. Okay. So Google Trends is a way of, let's say, checking the reliability of the number of visitors to a cultural destination, the real data. And here it is very clear that the demand for Cremona violin is decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any question?
No, thank you.
And this is why it is important to destationalize, because you cannot see the real figures until you destationalize the series. Go to save this so as we upload it to the internet, the exercise. We are going to save it. Okay. So I stop sharing this Excel. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to download Cremona violin, but I'm going to download weekly data. Okay. So in order to download weekly data, I selected the last 5 years. Can you see it?
No,
Last year. Okay.
we're not seeing.
Yes. Thank you, Ines, for telling me. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, so we are here. I have, instead of selecting monthly data,
Okay.
if I select from the year 2004, 2004, I download monthly data. Whereas if I select the last 5 years, I download weekly data. Okay, last 5 years. So I'm going to download now weekly data. Here, the Excel, I download the Excel. Hopefully, yes. So I stop sharing this and I start sharing the Excel. Can you see the weekly data?
Not yet. Oh, okay.
Can you see the weekly data?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so now we are going to destationalize the weekly data. Well, first I'm going to draw the graph for this. In order to see how the weekly data looks like without destationalizing. Can you see the variable, how changed it is?
Mm-hmm.
We have a peak here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should work out what is happening in this peak, but it is very changey data. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to destationalize it. Now we have weekly data. Okay.
Yeah.
How many weeks do we have a year?
52.
52. Okay. 52 weeks. So now we need to go to row 55. Is it correct?
Yeah, because you started on number 3, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. And I need to calculate the first 52, the average of the first 52 weeks, okay? So the average of the first 52 weeks is here. Can you see it?
Mhm.
I did the same. I performed the average of the first 52 weeks, okay? And then once I perform this, I just copy paste to the remaining cells. And now I'm going to draw it to see what happens with the weekly data. Okay. Wait a minute. I need to add the dates. And voila, here we are. It is a slightly different pattern because you can see that there is a first period in which there is a decline. There is then all of a sudden the COVID. Can you see the COVID?
Mm-hmm.
There was an increase during the COVID. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
There was an increase during the COVID. Okay. And surprisingly, so we should study what happened during the COVID. What happened during the COVID that the demand for Cremona Biolane increased, as you can see there. And then in 2021 again, there's a slight decline, and then there's somehow it's quite stable. Somehow it is quite stable. So it is interesting to combine the monthly data, destationalized monthly data, with this stationalized weekly data to see what happens during the last weeks. Okay. Any question?
No, thank you.
Yes, it is always necessary to destationalize. Okay, always.
Okay.
We need, because we need to get to know which is the real behavior of the time series. I'm going to.
I thought to destationalize we should take out the inflation, but if the average is enough, it's
If
okay.
you use inflation rate, yes, then you need to destationalize. Yes, right.
Okay. But that's not with the average, I believe.
You can do it with average.
Okay.
Yes, well, we can use different. This is the more simple one. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But it is enough with this. If you are a business person, for instance, with this is enough.
Okay. Okay.
Because if you combine, this is unbiased. Okay, it is reliable. If you combine this analysis of the demand of your product with the knowledge you have of your company, of your institution, it is enough.
Okay. Okay.
Because your own experience will give you the intuition, and this gives you information of the demand. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And this is low cost. This is also important. Low cost in terms of time. You saw that we performed it in 10 minutes each. 10 minutes for destationalizing the monthly data, 10 minutes for destationalizing the weekly data. So once you have the expertise, within 10 minutes, you can get to know what is happening with the demand of your product, okay? What is happening with the demand of the opera of your town, of your city, or the theater of your city, or what is happening with a city as a cultural destination, as a cultural destination, okay?
No.
Okay. Okay, so any question in connection with Excel?
No, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to close the Excel. I have already stopped sharing, and we go back to the PowerPoint. Okay.
Okay.
Here on the PowerPoint, we are back in the PowerPoint. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
We downloaded monthly data
Mm-hmm.
and destationalized the monthly data, and we saw that the demand for Cremona violin is decreasing. Then we downloaded the weekly data for the last 5 years and destationalized the weekly data, and we saw that during the last 5 years, initially there was a decline. There was a sharp increase during the COVID, so we have to analyze. In this case, we should analyze what happened during the pandemic that increased demand so much for Cremona violin, and then the demand stabilizes, which is an excellent news for the Cremona cluster. Okay, the Cremona production of strings and violins in Cremona. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. This is the thing of in direct. And this is how what I mentioned, the keywords. Do you remember that I showed you the keywords in Google Trends? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes. So here we build up an ego network with the keywords in Google Trends. We are analyzing here the research question is, when you look up in Google for Cremona violin, which are the other keywords, searching keywords that are connected with Cremona violin. Okay. So the keywords, according to Google Trends, are musical instrument, Stradivarius, Anthony Stradivari, luthier, violin makers, violin shop, Museo del Violino, which is a museum on the violin, Italy, brand, bass guitar, double bass, cello, musical instrument, viola, guitar, electric violin, and so on. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. It makes sense, and they are keywords that 90%, let's say, are connected with the violin, the production of violin and cellos and string instruments. Okay. Well, this is useful because this is a way of doing research on which are the keywords demanded by Google searchers. Okay, when they look for one specific keyword, which are the other keywords that are connected with this main keyword according to demand. I would like to remind you that we are talking about demand. Okay, demand means from the consumer side. Okay? These are consumers looking for keywords on the internet. Okay, so we are talking about demand. Okay, demand of information, information demand. Okay,
Yeah.
here we are performing a network analysis for which are the keywords demanded by those who look for Cremona violin. Okay.
Okay.
Well, this is key. This is key because this means that we are analyzing your positioning in the semantic world on the internet. You are approaching which are the keywords employed by your consumers or your customers and what they are looking for on the internet. Okay. And this is key to get to know your demand, to get to know your demand. Because many times in the companies or the institutions and operas and theaters, they use the supply of information. Supply of information, and I'm going to open brackets, okay? What is supply of information? Information supply stands for what you publish, okay? You publish a website, so you are supplying information, okay? And this is demand of information. What is demand of information? This is what the consumers are looking for. This is not what you publish, okay? At all. This is what your consumers are looking for, if I may. I don't know if I'm clear enough.
Yes, you are.
Yes. And this is key because many times we approach the analysis through the information supply, okay? We approach through what I am publishing. Yes, what are you publishing is key, but it's even more important to get to know how many people look at that, okay, or how many people read that, or which is the demand of information. So the key variable is the demand of information, if I may. So Google Trends is demand of information. And here we have the keywords demanded by the customers or demanded by attendants in cultural institutions, okay? Demanded from the demand side. And well, this is very valuable, but because it gives you an idea of which are the preferences of your customers, okay? Which are the preferences of your attendees. Your attendees, what are your attendees interested in? Okay, not what I am publishing. This gives you an idea of which are the interests of your attendees. Okay, any question?
No.
And this is an ego network, okay, which we'll go to analyze tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this.
Okay.
Beatriz, if I may,
Yes. Yes.
there is another tool in Google, very similar to Google Trends, that is Google Analytics, isn't it?
Excuse me. Excuse me, Asier, can you repeat, please?
I said that there is an application also in Google very similar to
Somebody has a microphone
Excuse
on.
me. Can you
it. Yeah.
unmute all of you?
No, I can hear you. No, I was asking for.
Excuse me, can I ask you very kindly to unmute your systems? Yes. Excuse me, Asier.
Yeah, I was asking for Google Analytics, and that this is. I mean, is it a different system that Google Trends? Is it the same or is it different? And what is useful for Google Analytics?
The difference is that Google Trends is big data and Google Analytics is data mining. This is the first difference, okay? Google Trends is massive data and Google Analytics is data mining. Google Analytics is the traffic generated by one specific website, whereas
Okay.
Google Trends is all over the world, how many people Google for that, okay? So it is big data in Google. Google Trends is open and Google Analytics is closed. You need to have a login and password in Google Analytics, whereas in Google Trends is open and you can access without any problem.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Okay, so now we move on to the next exercise, okay? Next exercise, I'm going to check into Google Trends, which is the behavior for Louvre Lens. Louvre Lens is a satellite museum by Louvre in Lens, very close to, it is in France, very close to the Belgian border, okay? Lens is an all-industrialized city, and they employed this museum in order to reactivate the economy of that city. We want to compare Louvre Lens with Pompidou Metz. Pompidou Metz is also a French city. Also, Metz is all industrialized, very close to the French border, to the German border, okay? Very close to Germany, but it is France. And then Louvre, Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi, which is a satellite by Louvre, inaugurated in Abu Dhabi. So I, again, going to look for Google Trends. Okay, now we are lucky because my system is in English. Okay. Can you see my screen?
We
Can
can.
you see my screen?
Yes.
So I'm Googling for Louvre Lens worldwide, as I told before. worldwide from 2004, okay?
Hmm.
So this pattern is very clear. The
Hmm.
good thing of Google Trends is that it is easy to see which are the patterns, because this is big data, so it is massive data, okay, for Louvlens. The inauguration was in December 2012, as you can see. So the maximum is here. It is very clear that you have a novelty effect here, a novelty effect. A lot of people are Googling for Louvlens because they had the inauguration, so it is a novelty and everybody wants to look for this on the internet, okay? But then there is a very strong decline. The main point here is at which level does this museum stabilize? Because this is a proxy to the number of visitors to your museum, okay? It is a proxy to the number of visitors to your museum. This is a number, how many people are looking in Google to for this museum. But obviously there's a positive correlation between the number of people who Google for Louvlens and the number of people that visit the museum. There's a positive correlation, okay? So somehow this is a good proxy. Now, I'm Googling for Pompidou Metz. Can you see the artificial intelligence system they have? Google Trends gives you options, and the system is giving me the option Centre Pompidou Metz. Voila. So now we can compare Pompidou Metz Museum with Louvlens. Who is performing better? Well, at the inauguration, as you can see here, the opening of Pompidou Metz, Pompidou Metz was performing better than Louvlens, because a lot of more people were Googling for Pompidou Metz at the inauguration, okay? But then, more or less, you can see that the two of them stabilize at the same level, okay? More or less, the two of them are performing similarly. Let's go to Louvre, Abu Dhabi. Louvre, Abu Dhabi. This museum in Abu Dhabi. It is a museum, it is a satellite museum of Louvre. And here you can see the inauguration. The number of people that Google it was much higher than Louvlens and Pompidou Metz. And also, it seems that stabilizes a little bit higher, but then we have this COVID pandemic effect on the number of searches on Louvre Abu Dhabi, and it seems that it hasn't recovered yet. Okay, you can see here that it seems that it hasn't recovered yet. Well, this is very useful to check which is the behavior of your competitors. Okay, if you know how to destationalize the Google Trends and analyze Google Trends, you can get to know, have a clue more or less of how your competitors are behaving. Okay, and now I'm going to add Guggenheim Bilbao. Guggenheim Bilbao. Okay. Museum Bilbao. And what can you see here? You can see here that the Guggenheim Bilbao, although it is in a small city, second-tier city by the European standard, the demand in Google for the Guggenheim Bilbao is well above. This is the 20th anniversary. Can you see it here? The 20th anniversary. This was the 25th anniversary, but still it is, you can see that they are doing well, but they are still recovering from the pandemic, okay? Around here, okay? But they're doing quite well. At least Here you can see that the Guggenheim Bilbao is doing much better than the Louvre Abu Dhabi and much more better than the Pompidou Metz and Louvre Lens. And here you have the averages. The green one stands for the Guggenheim Bilbao. The yellow one stands for Louvre Abu Dhabi. The red one stands for Pompidou Metz. And the blue one stands for Louvre Lens. So it is a very good approach to the amount of information. Any question?
No, thank you.
Yes. And then we have again who is Googling from where. This is massive data, so this is the big data of Google. Okay, who is Googling from where, and also the keywords. The keywords. We saw before a network analysis of keywords with Cremona violin. Okay, so we can analyze our customers and attendees when they Google for your museum, for instance, what exactly they are Googling for. And this is key to get to know what exactly they are Googling for. Okay. Okay. And last but not least, we are going to finish with a third exercise because we want to compare the Dubai Museum of the Future, which was inaugurated last year, with Louvre Abu Dhabi. Okay, so again, we know that there is this competition between Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
We're not seeing.
No, wait, I'm going to share my screen again. Thank you for letting me know. Ines, can you see it now?
Yep.
Yes, here we are. So globally, okay, from 2004 on, it was here, it is very clear, you can see when it was inaugurated. Okay. Wait a minute, go to back here. Can you see the inauguration here on the right hand side?
Yeah.
Yes, and now I'm going to look for, I don't know what happened, but it's stuck. I'm going to open a new window again. This is a very outstanding museum of scientific museum, okay, of science, standing museum of science in Dubai, okay. This Dubai Museum of Future. Now I go to Louvre Abu Dhabi. Voila. And you can see very clearly that the museum, the Dubai Museum of the Future, well, they are performing nicely, but it is true that the Louvre Abu Dhabi, here at the inauguration, the Louvre Abu Dhabi was doing better, but now, if you compare it at the end, after the inauguration of the Dubai Museum of Future, you can see that the line of the Dubai Museum of the Future is a little bit bigger than the volume of Google search is a little bit bigger than the Louvre Abu Dhabi. So this means that the Dubai Museum of Future is doing quite well. Okay, this scientific museum in Dubai, at least they are doing a little bit better than the Louvre Abu Dhabi. Okay. Any question?
No,
No,
thanks.
thank you.
Have you seen this? Okay. So now we go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Again. Okay, and last to finish, the last research question is, has the Vatican Museum recovered from the pandemic? This is a top 5 globally, okay? Top 1 is Louvre Museum, but it is true that culture tourism suffered a very severe limitation with the pandemic, and we want to check whether the number of visitors to the Vatican Museum has recovered after the pandemic, okay? So again, we go to Google Trends. To see which is the volume Vatican Museums here worldwide from the year 2004, and here we see it. Can you see the graph?
No, not yet.
I cannot.
This is the graph. Can you see the graph now?
Yeah.
We have looked for Vatican museums, okay?
Yes.
This was before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you have a very sharp decline on the pandemic, and this is
The recover.
the recover, not only recover, but increase.
Okay.
Okay? When normally the tourism data is very seasonal. So we have April this year, 66. In order to get to know whether they are doing well or not, we need to compare April this year with April last year, okay?
Okay.
So, or April 5 years ago. So we go to April 5 years ago, and 5 years ago it was 57. Can you see it here? In the year 2019, in April it was 57, whereas now it is 66. So the answer is that the Vatican museums not only has recovered from the pandemic, but they are doing much better now than before the pandemic. Okay? Any question?
No.
No. Then, here, just as a reminder, we compare the same month. Okay, so we were comparing April this year with the same month another year. Right? So we compare always the same month. Okay. And which is the seasonal pattern? The seasonal pattern here is always in April. You can see that the peak, the demand for Vatican Museum, the maximum is always in April. April, can you see it? April, because they are the Eastern holidays, okay?
Okay.
April. Can you see that this is September, but this is April again? April, can you see the peaks, the maximums, always in April? Can you see the maximums in April?
Yes.
So, if I were the manager of the Vatican Museum, I would take care, obviously I would take care of the museum all over the year, but it is very clear that April is a very important month for the Vatican Museum, okay? So if I were the manager of the Vatican Museum, I would be very careful, I would be very careful of supplying high quality services, culture services in April every year. Because the maximum, the peak is every year in April. Every year in April. Okay? Any question?
No.
Okay, and the same, you have the breakdown, demand from where they are looking for, which are the keywords connected with the Vatican Museum, the Museum, Rome, Ticketing, Sixtine Chapel, Coliseum, St. Peter's Basilica, Italy, art museums, Borghese, Florence, obviously, very close, not far away from Italy, the Pantheon, which is a building in Rome, the Roman Forum, Museum Capitolini, okay, and Castel Sant'Angelo, so it makes sense. People who look for Vatican museums, they look for cultural attractions in Rome, other cultural attractions, as you can see here. They look for the Sixtine Capital is there. They look for the Coliseum. They look for the St. Peter's Basilica. They look for Borghese Gallery Museum. They look for Florence, which is very close. They look for the Pantheon. They look for the Roman Forum, the Museum Capitoline, Villa Borghese, Castel Sant'Angelo, and they look for the Raphael paintings. Okay, so we have a clue of what are the attendees or what are the Google searches looking for. Okay. Okay, so this was the last exercise with Google Trends, and we will have a 10 minutes break now. Okay.
Okay.
We can start at 11:30 with Google Analytics. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your attendance. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Beatrice. Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Beatrice.
Standing quality lecture syllabus.